We come flying up to the hospital, misses the turn to the emergency room, slams on the brakes, looks up and sees a pathway, the bike lane and the sidewalk to the emergency room, cranks the wheels and floors it up the bike lane, cars half on the sidewalk, half in the bike lane. Screeches to stop in front of the emergency room. A couple of armed security guards come out. It's like, what's going on? I'm like, the driver jumps out. It's an emergency.
Welcome to the Let Me Save You 25 Years podcast. I am your host, Shawn David Nelson. Holy cow, am I stoked because this is the first ever wrap-up experimental episode. I've never done anything like this. I've got my entire Baja, well, part of my Baja racing team in the studio with me today, live, and we are going to be doing a recap of our Baja 1000 2025 race and all of the carnage. And I mean literal carnage. We're talking like lost limbs, like broken pieces, bodies strewn across a race course somewhere in Mexico kind of action coming at you today from the Let Me Save You 25 Years podcast. Our Shawnism, as we do here, our Shawnism that we will be celebrating is bring your boots. Bring your boots, and we will get into it with our guests. We'll go down the line. We will welcome our three guests in the studio. The better half of the team Can't Not Ride racing team. I will introduce them as follows. We'll go with Merrill first up here on the end. Merrill, I'll introduce as the Iron Man.
Yeah.
You can tell by the rust in his underwear. Ryan, who has just recently become the team mascot. Show him, Ryan. Show him. There you go. Permanent shaka. Yeah. And Wade. Wade is, I'll just call him the shortcut.
Nice.
We'll get to all that.
Yeah.
But welcome to the studio, guys. Good to have you.
Yeah, it was great to be here.
All right. So,
super fun.
Hey, just to kick this off, let's open it up so everyone's following. We race motorcycles. We race. We don't usually race. We usually just ride in our backyard, so to speak, here in Southern Utah. But we raced the Baja 1000. This was our fourth year racing the longest continuous, some say most dangerous race on the planet.
Yeah.
Some do it in trucks, some do it in side-by-sides, some do it in Volkswagens. We do it on dirt bikes. And let's talk about the Baja 1000 for those listeners who don't really know what this is. So we'll start with the Iron Man.
All right, well, I'll jump in because I kind of feel like I'm mostly responsible for all of this craziness.
Look who's here. The man who got us all into this mess.
I don't know, maybe we became aware of at least I became aware of this race. I mean, I'd heard of it, but we started riding motorcycles down in Mexico, starting with adventure bikes. The first time we went down there was in 2013. And I, if I'm honest, I was petrified out of my mind. You know, you hear you're going to get robbed in Mexico, or I don't know. But we get down there. It's so much fun. The tacos are so great. It's just so beautiful and remote. And I just love the desert. I grew up here in Southern Utah, so it's a little bit different desert, but it's so beautiful there. And so then we made a couple trips a year down.
Just to go watch, to be
just
clear.
to go, yeah. At first we just actually were just going to Mexico because we'd heard it was cool. And then in 2017, a few of us went down, and I thought it'd be fun to go and watch this race. And it was so much more fun than we expected. And then a few years went by where we were just there on our adventure bikes with camping gear, and we'd camp next to the race course, and we'd see the dirt bike guys come by, and we'd look at each other and be like, whoa, we could do this. We could do this.
In fairness, so I joined somewhere toward the end there. Like, I wasn't part of this crew. I didn't grow up with these guys. Some of these guys grew up riding together. I picked up dirt biking in my 40s, which is like kind of a no-no. It's not.
What a bad idea.
Not the wisest life choice. But hey, I went heavy. These guys were patient. They picked me up out of the dirt hundreds of times. Literally. Merrill is my living, breathing toolkit. He has used his tools on my bike more than on
Some
his
people
own.
say tool bag.
Merrill
That's
is my
awesome.
tool bag. All right. And so I joined, I think I went on the trip in 2018, maybe 2019. I can't even remember. But yeah, riding adventure bikes. These are bikes that can go on road or off road. And really they're like tourist bikes. And we're just down there to watch. And in fairness, Merrill, we didn't right out of the gate say we could do this. At first we're like, oh man, those guys are
Wouldn't it be cool someday?
gnarly.
Those guys. But they're not that fast, are they? I mean, they don't look like they're
Well, we would get stuck in the sand just trying to watch the race. Remember that? Like,
Oh, yeah.
We'd have to be picking each other up just trying to get to where we could observe the race. And you see these guys riding through 2 feet of silt, rocks, gravel, right? And they've got to do that, for those listening, for roughly 40 hours, let's say. Like the race can vary anywhere from 750 miles to 1,300 miles, depending on the year, depending on the route. It always changes every year. Some years are a loop, centering around Ensenada and the upper Baja Peninsula. Some years go the entire length of the peninsula, and every year is different. And so it's crazy. And by the third year, I'd say, or second year when I went, was when finally we said, like, maybe we could do this. And so take us from there.
So I actually initially was like, I just want to do this by myself because I heard about the Ironman thing.
Which means you got to ride the
Yes.
whole distance by yourself. So just first of all, for those listening, imagine getting on a dirt bike, not a motorcycle, okay? Like if you've ever ridden a dirt bike on the road and felt the wheels wobbling, because they're built for off-road, you're going to ride this dirt bike from, in our case, Utah to the border of Mexico and back. That's how far this race is, without ever touching the pavement. You're going to do it only on the dirt through the worst kind of terrain. That's the race in a nutshell, but it all occurs down in Baja. And Merrill gets the big idea. Hey, I think I could do this alone.
And I think the reason that I came to this is I just like endurance things. I've done, a half Ironman triathlon. I participated in an 11-day road rally on my adventure bike where I rode 1,000 miles a day on the pavement. So I think, hey, maybe this is something I can do on my dirt bike. And then I kind of pulled these guys in, and Wade was the voice of reason the first year in 2022. And he said, you know what, maybe let's go try this as a team first before you try to do it by yourself.
That's right. So we started as a team.
Yeah, and it was like October, maybe September, and the race is in like a month or two, and we're like, hey, maybe if we start training, we can do it next year. And then we're like, maybe if we do it this year, we'll be more ready.
How about we just do it next week?
Let's just do it in October, November. Let's just do it.
And just to give people listening a perspective, most people that race this race prepare year round. Like literally, I know teams that'll have a team meeting in January for a race in November.
When do we do our team meeting usually, by now?
Usually we do it
At the
like
Airbnb in Mexico, 2 days
12
before.
hours before the race begins.
In November.
No, we do it in November. So most other sports, this is really like the Super Bowl or the World
Absolutely.
Series of off-road racing. And you can just sign up.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things.
Like you can be like, I have money and I want to come try. And they're like, stand over there and here's your sticker. You'll start at midnight and you go try. And it's not recommended to do it that way.
Yeah, so there's a pretty robust Facebook group called Pro Moto Baja Racing, which
Shout
is
out to
where
them.
I've gotten a lot of information and a lot of help. And if you're just a noob that jumps on there and says, hey, I'd like to Ironman the Baja 1000, you will get literally within 24 hours 150 comments telling you to do all of these things first. And I think we're lucky we did not listen to a lot of that advice.
I don't think we listened to any of it.
Okay,
We
well,
never would have raced it if we would
Yeah,
have followed
we
people.
wouldn't
That's
have
fine.
done
That's true. But now that we've got some experience and we've been instrumental in helping some other teams, at least I have, to kind of get their feet on the ground, and we're kind of veterans at this point. I feel like.
By the
we
way,
have a lot of experience.
For those listening who know nothing about dirt bike racing and don't care about off-road racing, I have to jump to the end from the beginning. And by the way, no, I think we might put this near the front of the whole conversation just to keep people glued. Ryan only became our mascot this trip a few weeks ago because, again, show him Ryan, the mug, the finger. Yeah, Ryan sacrificed his ring finger on his right hand, and he is right-handed, to the Baja 1000 this year. So it's worth kind of seeing this through, just to hear kind of how that happened and what that looked like. Because, I mean, tell us, Ryan, what's the update, by the way? How's the hand?
The hand's healing up well. It's I'm getting mobility and some use of it back. It's looks like it's going to come together.
And now you've got a conversation starter for the rest of your life.
I do, yes.
And we have a new team logo
Yeah.
that will appear prominently on your self-made mug. I like that.
Well, in the
yes.
spirit of our team name, Can't Not Ride, it's only been, a little over a month, and I've been on 2 dirt bikes or rides with Ryan already, and he's doing pretty good because we can't not ride. We literally can't not ride.
There you go. And by the way, 2 years before that, Wade sacrificed was it your left leg?
Yeah, I crashed similar actually place in Mexico in a wash 2 years ago or 3 years ago now. Anyways, I shoved my femur through my pelvis during the race after I hit a rock and crashed and got life flighted out, and it took 6 months to get better, and it's a whole story under its own. But yeah, that sometimes you make tough choices, you get tough rewards, you know?
Okay, so you've been life flighted out of Mexico. Brian, you've been life flighted out.
Yeah.
Thankfully, when Merrill chose to sacrifice his toes to the race.
In 2024, I was planning to Ironman that year. Just 2 days before I was going to drive to Mexico, I was just out riding here locally in southern Utah, hit a rock with my toes, and man, it kind of felt like it hurt. And I realized after much more pain that kind of came in after the adrenaline wore off that I dislocated 2 of my toes.
Which is a lot worse than it sounds, because we're talking steel rods through your feet, healing up for months. I was with him when this happened, and he's like, like we've all developed radar for when we're actually hurt, because we're always on comms together. We're listening to each other, and they know my sounds really well. It's like, no, he's fine.
Yeah, that's
like, no, he's fine.
Turn
And then it's like, okay. Oh, that sounded bad.
Yeah, we better go check that
So
out.
this was a Merrill that sounded bad. Merrill broke his. So at this point, anyone who is into dirt biking or off-road racing is listening, saying like, "Why are these old clowns trying to do this?" But in fairness,
and they're saint wives for letting them just like get after it.
Yes, by the way, the wives make this all possible.
Infinite patience.
We love you. We're grateful for you.
Yeah, certainly.
I will say though, this scrappy team of broken people is 4 races in, and we've completed every race. We have finished a bike in every race, which most bikes don't even finish some years.
There's many teams that I know of personally that think, hey, we're going to head down, we're going to race this race. And they, even multi-years in, never finish a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're proud of that. We often finish toward the end of the pack. We often, not much time left.
But to give people that don't have a perspective, in just all of the classes, so every vehicle, spending is not limited, every type of vehicle, the finish rate for the Baja 1000 is usually about 50% of entries do not finish.
Yeah.
In the bikes, in the quads, the Ironman class, which I'm still very interested in finishing myself, is about a 30% finisher rate.
Yeah.
All right. So my question, maybe others' question listening in, why do we do this?
Yeah. Yeah. There's something special about getting together with friends that you care about, doing something that's just right at the edge of possible in a place that puts you having to rely on each other, having to focus on a common goal, having a very loose plan that you have to execute almost perfectly to be successful, and then coming out, with stories for a lifetime that only cost you, one of your fingers or that just
your pelvis.
Yeah. Some people,
an arm or a leg.
I was telling my wife, some people, go through this whole life and don't really experience living. They bury a body they didn't even use up, and the chance to get out and just get after it and hang out with some really amazing people just changes you. It makes you excited to go back to work or whatever else you have to do. It's
by
pretty
the way,
powerful.
I'll just interject. in the spirit of Let Me Save You 25 years, I got to attend this amazing seminar. You guys have heard me mention this, from one of the top performance coaches in the United States. And he was talking about flow state and how you get there. And it's like a scientific proven fact that if you want to achieve flow state, that place in our lives where we feel like we're just on it, like we are performing, we are dialed in, we are in the zone, we are present. Everyone's felt that way. Maybe you're writing something amazing. Maybe you're playing a musical instrument. The most proven way to achieve flow state is doing something that's very, very difficult mentally and or physically. Something where there is, number 2, a bit of risk involved. So I think of like playing music on a stage live, puts you there. But number 3, doing it with people you care about and achieving it together. That's like the top way to induce flow state for anyone listening. So I think like for me, dirt biking with you guys, even day to day, because we dirt bike 2, 3, 4 times a week out here in the desert, puts me there. And I've been so grateful for that. That's why I don't shut up about it. Everyone on this podcast has heard me talk about it. They're like, dirt biking. You're probably sick of it, but that's what I sometimes get to feel. And I think we've all felt that.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll jump in as the Iron Man. So just to kind of catch up people so I've actually attempted this Iron Man thing 2 times. I've not finished either time, but I look back on both of those experiences. And the first time I was 800 miles into the 1,300 mile race and decided to quit after 32 hours.
Hold on, just stop. I just need people to understand that. You know what? Get in your car, your comfortable car with air conditioning, and go drive it for 32 hours straight without braking, sucking electrolytes in through your body for 32 hours to get from point A in your comfortable car, and tell me how you feel after 32 hours. Now do it on a dirt bike over the worst terrain on earth.
And then this year, 28 hours, and I made it to mile 600. And decided I wasn't going to make it in the 36-hour time limit. And so I decided, and I was just totally taxed mentally. But the thing is, I look back on both those experiences, and essentially I was in flow state for 32 and 28 hours.
Oh, you were in some other states as well.
I mean,
I was on comms riding next to you at points.
If you want a point of reference, there's this great movie, which is part of the inspiration for my Baja racing, called Dust to Glory. It's from, I think, 2008. Watch it. There's a guy named Mouse McCoy who Ironman the Baja 1000 and did really well. But I'm just this guy, but he's like a top level dirt bike racer and a stunt rider and all this kind of stuff. And, he finished, and, he just talks about, you see the mental state and you see it degrade throughout that movie. And that's the same place I was, but it's it's so much fun.
I got the video proof. By the time Merrill finally gives up on either Ironman attempt, which by the way, I won't even try Ironman. I'm a team rider all the way. Give me my couple 100 miles, whatever. And I'm done, this old guy. But, so nothing but respect to Merrill, but, it's amazing how grueling it is.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you come in, and I got the pictures, we'll put them up. You look like, what he looks like? He looks like the old wizard. He looks like some old wizard, like just covered in dirt, and like he's like 400 years old, like the guy guarding the Grail. Remember He looked like that guy.
Yeah, ready to hand off the sword to someone else.
But hey, take it to Ryan for 1 second. Today's Shawnism. Bring your boots. Where does that come from? Amongst this group of can't not riders?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is when Merrill and I were riding over in Tokerville without my boots and shattered my foot.
Be prepared.
So be prepared is one aspect of it. What else, Merrill? Where does this Shawn?
Well, so we've had, on rides, we've had people just come, they thought they were just going to be support. And ended up, because of injuries and different things, they got drafted onto the team thinking, hey, so be prepared and be ready for anything, even if you think you're just going down to help out as a chase truck driver or something, but then you know how to ride and you're not ready or whatever, bring your boots because you might need to throw them on to go ride, to go help another rider. Or
We register some of our chase truck drivers.
Yeah.
We did that.
Just
Learning.
as riders. They haven't paid the money. They're not really technically part of the riding team, but it's like, hey, dude, bring your boots. And more often than once.
Yeah, for sure.
That was me last year, riding across the desert to come chase down
That's
you.
right. You weren't racing last year.
Yeah.
And you ended up having to ride single track into the abyss in the darkness. We'll get to that in a second. My bike got stolen in Mexico, we think, but then we stole it back. And,
So good.
Ryan facilitated that maneuver.
One thing that's interesting about the way we do the Baja, it's probably not done by many other teams, is that we'll do the 2-up version. So we're not riding the same bike, but we're riding 2 bikes at the same time throughout the whole race. And whether it's somebody pacing with Merrill, trying to make the whole thing, but we're trading off on our bike. But 2 bikes are going together so we can enjoy the privilege of just cheering each other on and also watching out for problems. And it's kind of magical to be able to experience something really difficult together. And that's kind of what leads us to often having to have another set of boots there, or have your boots for guys that, if one team starts to fade, or one of the riders can't ride, or somebody gets hurt or busts their finger or pelvis or gets lost, or we can just, put another man on that bike and keep going. It's been one of the best parts, is just sitting there chatting.
And we've always finished a bike.
Yeah.
Sometimes started with 3, finished 1. Sometimes started with 2, finished 2.
Yeah.
But riding together is really unique. I don't know if anyone has ever.
There's been a couple of teams I've heard of doing it over the years, but I will just say from my perspective as, the guy who's ridden a lot of miles and then switched out riders, it's really, in the middle of the night when, I kind of wish these conversations were recorded, because apparently it's pretty entertaining when I've been awake for a day and a half, and riding my dirt bike, like maybe things that I say, I don't know, it's probably interesting.
But, to that end, and Ryan is good at reminding me of this, but look, I love dirt biking. I love the flow state. I love the danger. I love that I've even amassed a little bit of skill to try and keep up with you guys. But I love our conversations, and not just on the Baja. So we get to do that for 40 hours. We get to ride next to each other and sit there and chit chat, because we have these communication devices on our helmets that it's just open. It's not even a walkie-talkie. You don't even push a button. You just talk. But I can think of 100 different rides at dawn, usually pre-dawn, sometimes into the night, where we have esoteric conversations about life and relationships and stuff that matters. Even as we're like, sometimes I'll have a lucid moment where it's like I could die or like be seriously injured like right now, and we're sitting here talking about.
But also, what do you do when your kids do this? And like, we have conversations about our businesses and our wives and our philosophy and
all
our religion, and we're also trying not to die
at the same time. Like, I watch someone turn around and watch someone dropping down a cliff as they're talking about like an issue with a teenager. Like, can you even appreciate what's happening right now?
Well, and I actually got some really great life advice from Shawn while we were riding through these horrible whoops made by the trophy trucks in San Felipe that I pre-ran. I kind of zipped through there thinking, man, this is going to be so much fun riding this sand wash during the race. And then the trophy trucks passed me, made these 3 foot deep, 6 foot across whoops that, I have no skill or like at that time, the endurance to hit. I'm just grinding through them, standing up on my dirt bike, going like 20 miles an hour. But I knew I needed to get in a better headspace. So I asked Shawn a question about, something that I've wondered for a while, got a really great piece of life advice that's actually changed my life while we were riding. And I knew I needed to do that because I needed to get my mind off of what I was experiencing physically.
And look, I've gotten the same kind of advice from, I feel like every one of you guys. At different points, and it's something that I cherish, because we weren't even, at least I wasn't even your friend for a few years ago, and now we have some of the most incredible experiences ever. Some of my most incredible life experiences together, including some of these conversations that can be life altering.
I serve as a bishop in my church, and I get to talk with a bunch of men about their life struggles and their spiritual experiences and things they're struggling with, their family and friends. And the truth is that many, many men like us don't have friends. They don't have anybody. And it's so sad. They live quiet, lonely lives where they go to work and they come home and they watch TV and then they do it again. And it's just a huge blessing to get a tribe of guys around you that have some of the same values and want to get out and share and be vulnerable and do adventures and live life. It's a treasure to be around you fellas. I'm super grateful.
Yeah, I agree completely. And it's tricky because we aren't just looking for the best riders on our team. I mean, obviously I'm on the team somehow, but I do think that, and look, we're open. That's so cool. We have this really cool forum that now has more than 100 people here in Southern Utah on our little dirt bike forum. They probably get sick of seeing the 4 or 5 of us posting every day because we try and ride so much. But we get all kinds of people that just join on, bring their boots, or at least bold enough to show up. And what they're going to find is usually the group's patient. If they're not quite as fast as some of us, or someone gets hurt. I mean, there was one guy on the Baja this trip who got hurt right in front of us doing the same stunt that Ryan pulled to lose his finger. We'll get to that in a second. But it was a rock just like this. So first of all, let me disclose what's going on here. So in the middle of this room, I can't believe you guys brought this.
It's great.
I mean, how much does that weigh, first of all?
Probably 150 pounds.
Okay,
maybe 200.
Yeah,
it's
300.
It's closer
At
to
least
200.
300.
Okay, a couple 100 pounds inside of an oddly shaped rock is not easy to wield, but they brought it into the studio. This is the rock that took Ryan's finger, kind of. We'll get to that. Wade has a similar one in his yard because both of these guys were probably doing 40, 50 miles an hour on a dirt bike through like a sandy wash in Mexico. Pegged their front tire into this thing and it pitched them 30, 40 feet through the air to take out Wade's hip. Ryan's finger will come back. But this rock we extracted from the ground and brought it home. We had the foresight to bring this one because we didn't want to have to go back to get it like we did Wade's.
Now, mind you, I had just lost my finger. Bones are sticking out. I'm bleeding on the race course. And I'm like, guys, let's get out of here. And they're like, no, you can wait 5 more minutes while we get your rock.
Just sit in the truck, man. This is important work.
And I want to maybe back up just a little bit and tell the story of Wade's rock. So Wade gets hurt the first year we're racing. We still end up finishing both bikes.
First year, second leg of the race.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a
110
mile
miles
110
in.
of an 850-mile race.
Yeah.
Of our career. We had never ridden the
we've
Baja.
never raced in Mexico.
We come
This
in
was-
hot, matching t-shirts,
Oh,
matching
we're so
gear,
good.
Love Sack sponsorship for the gear. We're looking cool. And second leg, no pun intended, of the race.
Pun intended for sure.
So then Wade is in the hospital, I think, still, and his brother-in-law is actually going on a different trip to Mexico, not dirt bike related, joking when his brother-in-law says, "Hey, do you need anything from Mexico?" Wade's jokingly says, "Maybe go to San Felipe and get that rock." One of our other team members who's not here overhears that and thinks,
Yeah, I said
Wait
it as
just a
a
minute.
total joke.
Total joke.
Like, go give me that rock. And he's like,
Give me
okay.
that, give me that rock that ruined my life for the next year.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
So it made me a cripple.
Excluding Wade, we come up with, and it was hard to keep
Like a
this on the
secret
down
plan.
low.
I had no idea.
A group of us goes to Mexico. We drive. It was probably at least 50 miles off of the pavement in my truck.
Hold on. First, just if everyone appreciates it, they got to drive, what is it, like 10 hours just to get down
10
to
hours to
Mexico.
get to where we turn off the pavement and drive 2 or 3 hours in the sand wash to dig the rock out of the ground.
Because we ride 2 up. Daryl Zitting, who's not here, but it's sad that he's not here, but he was with me when I crashed. He was with Ryan.
Also, my savior to help me out.
In fact, don't ride washes with Daryl.
Don't ride with
That's the next Shawnism. So So he knew the rock because there wasn't a lot of rocks around. And he's like, I know where it's at.
And he had pictures that he'd taken of like kind of the wreck. And so he knew exactly where the rock is. So they go to the rock, dig the rock out of the ground. Then we bring it home, take Wade to lunch on his birthday.
Yeah, it's very nice.
And give him the rock. And the footage of that the look on Wade's face is amazing.
So
then
stinking way.
A couple years later, I hit my foot on a rock, and I'm joking the whole time. I'm like, you guys got to go get this rock. So they take Wade's tractor, go out in the desert in southern Utah, dig the rock up.
On private land, by the way. There was
private land.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. They dig the rock up and bring it to me for my birthday. They take me to lunch. Give me the rock. Now it's in my front yard. And so that's the spirit that we're going. And, they go pick up Ryan and they need to get his rock because otherwise we're going to.
We got to rewind. So, okay, now that we've established we have a 200-pound rock hunting habit.
Yeah.
And again, lest anyone doubt, we pass 1 million rocks in a ride. Okay, we successfully roll over, bounce over, wheelie over 1 million rocks in a ride, even big ones like this. But every now and then, man, wrong speed, wrong rut, wrong angle, wrong light.
Just happens like this, and you're
30 feet in the air. And by the way, sorry, let me deviate. I'll come back to Ryan. This happened in front of our team on this last race.
Okay, yeah.
While we were waiting for someone to come into the pit, not our team, some other dude. Wheelies by me. I'm like watching him because you're on the race course. You're getting ready. I'm getting ready to ride my next leg. And this dude's just wheeling out, so excited to be on his bike, rips through. So I'm watching him. And 50 feet later, he does the same thing.
Hits a rock that looks really similar to this rock.
Hits a rock about this size. And he's a good rider, whoever this guy was. He was from like Colombia, I think. Pitches in, I run down the track. We ended up having to extract him. We had to use my dirt bike ramp, get him flat, roll him over. I could tell like the way he was holding his leg and had us adjust his leg. He was in this, I felt like it was like a repeat of whatever you experienced, Wade.
Yeah.
Clearly probably broke his hip, same thing. I felt lucky to be there. And we load him. At least, we had a little experience with this. Load this poor, and by the way, had this happened, I don't know, 20 minutes later, the dude would have already been 20 more miles into the desert, in the middle of nowhere at night. In this case, we got to see it and help him get loaded into an ambulance. And I'm just watching this poor guy because he was on a team that I could tell, in fairness, didn't really know or care. That he was probably just a team rider on a team that he didn't have friends, and I was ready to drive the dude to San Felipe. Thankfully, an ambulance came and was able to cart him off to the main road. But my point is, riding with you guys, at least I know someone's going to get me loaded up. Hey, even if they're going to take an extra 5 minutes to get my rock. But coming back to Ryan, so let's go there. So we do the Baja this year. We have the usual problems. There's bike problems. There's mechanical problems. We're running 3 bikes this year. There's a fast bike, and then there's Merrill's Ironman. Then there's a pace bike to go with Merrill and chit chat with Merrill and keep him from hallucinating, give him life advice. At this point, Merrill's finally decided to call it quits on the Ironman. We're going to take both bikes and finish them. We've ridden through the second night of darkness. Ryan is paired up with Daryl at this point to do the toughest part of the course, like the pro loop, come down, fast washes on the way out of the pro loop, and pick us up there, Rye.
Yeah, so Daryl and I are riding. We took off at, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We're riding all through the night. Sunrise starts coming up, and we're riding in this area that Daryl appropriately named Tatooine. Like, it's this open desert, amazing landscape that looks out of this world. Sun starts coming up, and we've got a sunrise that looks like this deep red on our shirts. There's rain clouds coming through it. And Daryl and I are talking like, I'm almost getting choked up. I'm like, Daryl, this is the most magical experience ever. Like, how cool is this that we're out here? We're doing this again, and we're clipping along. We're picking up the pace. So we get fuel and get water in the tank. We get a bad batch of fuel. So we're tearing apart the bike. And Daryl's got the mechanical expertise. We're pulling apart the fuel injection system. We're getting that fixed. We get both bikes back up and running. We're going, how amazing is this that we're in the middle of nowhere? I'm going to have the tools that the expertise to figure this out and get going. So we take off, we're riding, and it is absolutely just unbelievable magical. We get out of this kind of sand dune Tatooine area and get back into these gravel washes. And Daryl, he says, maybe we ought to slow down and be careful. We don't want to have what happened to Wade happen again.
Such a smart guy right there.
He really, it was good advice. I'm like, I feel like I'm doing good. We're clipping along. We're dodging the rocks.
You guys had this conversation?
We had this conversation.
About not...
I think Sean's hearing this for the very first time.
Not wading it.
About not going full wade.
Yeah, don't
on the landscaping rock.
Like 10 minutes before you go full wade?
Yeah, like Daryl's like, his hair's growing. He's like, this feels a lot like where Wade crashed. I don't know. We should slow down, do you think?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Clipping along. We're doing great. We're dodging rocks. We can see them. And then all of a sudden, the bike just bucks underneath me. And I'm in Superman position. I got my elbows bent. I got my butt off the seat. We're clipping along doing great. And it hits, and I feel the seat smack me in my behind so hard that my feet go straight up to the sky. I'm upside down, and I remember looking down, seeing the headlights, seeing the front fender, craning my neck back to spot my landing. I water ski, and I crash a lot water skiing. I've had a lot of practice spotting land. Come over, see the ground coming up. I tuck and roll. I roll up, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm doing great. I'm like, holy crap, that was epic. Like, I have no idea how far I flew, but I'm like, I don't know how I'm still alive.
You survived it. You felt.
Yeah. I'm like, kind of taking inventory of my neck and my back and my hips.
Really? Did you actually think about your hips?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, oh.
Yeah, I'm like,
everything works.
Because, I flew a long ways and tumbled and crashed. Exactly like Wade did. Exactly like the guy that you saved.
The bike's wadded up. Like when we finally get to you, the front end smashed, the cell phone holder, navigation things bent inward, the headlight, whatever shroud is just destroyed.
Yeah. He hit hard.
Yeah. So I come up and I'm like, I'm still here. I didn't lose consciousness. I'm like, remembering that flight was so amazing.
So positive.
So I come up and I'm of course covered in dust and I'm banged up. I reach up to adjust my helmet. And so I just grabbed the face mask there to kind of adjust my helmet. And I noticed my gloves are torn up. And I'm like, oh, dang it. I tore my gloves. And then I noticed my gloves swinging like a pendulum under my hand. And I'm like, that's weird.
Dude,
that's weird.
So I rolled my hand backwards, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh.
Like, I got bones sticking out of my hand.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to bleed to death out here. I remember when my older sister, when she was a teenager, cleaning a shower with a glass cup. She dropped it and fell and landed on it, and it cut her ring finger off on her left hand.
No way.
And it was bleeding so, with every heartbeat, it was shooting blood up on the wall and the ceiling.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, holy cow, I'm like, I got to get this under control because we're in the middle of nowhere. We're hours from any sort of definitive care, anything. I'm like, you can package up broken bones, but you can't put blood back in your body. And I'm going, holy cow, I got to do something about this. And so I'm thinking, where's the arteries at? I've got a tourniquet in my backpack. I look at it, and it's just barely drip. I'm like, sitting there kind of in amazement, one, staring at, the bones wiggling around. And I'm like, okay, I'm not bleeding. So then Daryl comes up on me and he's like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? I'm like, better get my backpack, get the first aid kit.
Oh my gosh.
And all of a sudden you see, he realizes that, I've got body parts literally ripped off of me.
Did you get lightheaded or queasy at all?
I think I had enough of an adrenaline rush that like the pain didn't quite hit until just shortly after Daryl pulled out the gauze and we started like, I'm dripping water on it from my drinking straw and he's got gauze and he's like, hang on, this is going to hurt, but we got to do this.
Did it hurt?
It hurt like a lot of bad words. But I think I only said a couple of them.
So you got the glove off and the finger's in the glove, right?
Yeah, the glove is literally like hanging in the, and Daryl gets it cleaned up. I start wrapping it up. And then I realize like, okay, I'm not going to die. We're okay. And Daryl, he's on the sat phone calling in for help.
By the way, hold on. Let me interject because you painted this picture of this beautiful sunrise. You're riding in flow state. You're ripping on. When that call came through, I was over there like making a video or something. And it was the most beautiful double rainbow
Yeah,
like
it's
I've
gorgeous.
ever seen. Tequila sunrise, classic Mexico.
Yeah.
And I remember Jared took the call because he had the sat phone when all the trucks were gathered around. We were probably 50 miles from where you were or something.
Yeah, you and I were getting ready to ride next.
Yeah, we were hoping you'd come in and we'd ride next. And I looked at Jared's face because I was there taking pictures of a rainbow, and Jared just had this like panicked look on his face. And when he kind of set the phone down and, to his side and started, saying, guys, Ryan's down and he's lost a finger.
Yeah.
I'm like, my stomach just drops because I'm thinking, what does that even mean? Like, I'm wondering about bleeding out. I'm wondering about like your future. I mean, this is a life altering event a little bit. I mean, or maybe a lot, but you skipped the part in the middle of that life altering event. Somehow you had the presence of, before you wrapped with gauze, in fairness, I had the video evidence. Daryl's playing with the finger, like making like a puppet show with your like Skeletor hand. You left that part out.
Yeah. Well, he didn't know if that was safe for the viewers at home.
Well, whether we showed or not, dude, this.
Oh, you definitely got to at least do some sort of edited version of it, because that was like the most epic part of the whole.
But what amazes me, because what's going to happen next is Wade and I are going to get in his truck, overland, rally, Ford F-150. We'll come back to that. We get to Ryan. It's got to be at least probably an hour now that you've been sitting on your butt waiting for help.
I actually looked at the timestamps because there was some discussion of this actually with Jared, because he's kind of a details guy and he likes to argue with me. But it was 2 hours from the time the actual it happened until you guys were able to get there.
Yeah.
And then the helicopter came after we got there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not to short circuit that. My point is 2 hours after this, pain, dirt, worry, blood, gore, coming to terms. You have 2 hours to come to terms with this. And from the moment it happened, apparently, because of the video evidence, to that 2 hours, to the time I finally show up, maybe 10 hours later in San Diego, looking at you getting finally stitched up. Ryan is Ryan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Ryan's just Ryan.
Yeah.
Like,
Super cool, super chill, super happy and relaxed and a little intense about, some of the things that are happening. But Ryan, you're pretty amazing, man.
There is this a Shawnism from the original book, Let Me Save You, 25 Years, all that, that crosses my mind almost on a daily basis when I find myself getting full of angst over anything. Stay cool and be kind. And I talk about it, in that little Shawnism, like it's a superpower. And it would be really hard for me to stay cool and be kind when I've lost a finger. I mean, I play the piano, I play the guitar, like you're into water sports, you hold out, you derp, like all these things had to have crossed your mind. And Ryan is just cool and kind to us, to the helicopter pilot, to everyone around, to the doctors that took his finger away in San Diego. They wouldn't let him keep it. And to this moment, as we sit here, man, and I just like, and I mean this like super sincerely, it's an example to me. And it's the most important part of the example of why I want to do this podcast, because it's like dirt biking's great. Mexico's great. Love tacos. But the example that you guys as somewhat new friends in my life are to me, in ways that don't require degrees or money or fame or books or any of that. It means the most to me of the entire experience.
Well, and I actually want to just add, you ask why we race in Mexico and why we ride dirt bikes maybe. It's the reason why, and I'm just speculating because I don't know inside of Ryan's head, although he and I have been friends for way longer than we haven't been friends. And I've been all over the world with Ryan. And the reason that we're friends is because we have this in common, and it's that we put ourselves in these situations where we have to figure it out, where we have to. And what that does is on an ongoing basis, it teaches us to be that way in these situations. And so there's an Alex Honnold quote. I've looked for it a little bit, but he talks about how when you need to put yourself in situations like this so that in just other situations, like when you're at the airport, you don't think it's that big of a deal. Well, you can stay cool and be kind.
Even in the Costco parking lot.
Even in the Costco parking. Because, it's when you've been in a situation like this, because really, I mean, he was out there with a finger missing with essentially no medical care. And I mean, he was in a remote place. I mean,
riding a bike that he wasn't scheduled to ride and a leg he wasn't scheduled to ride, which ties back to the theme, right? Bring your boots.
Yeah, be prepared.
He brought his boots, lost a finger. But I agree completely. It's an amazing observation. And I just, it's a challenge to anyone listening, like, are you doing things to push yourself and develop some of these traits so that when it really matters, or even when it doesn't, you're a more complete person? And are you surrounded by people that help you help exemplify what it is to be a more complete person? And I think I am, and I just am super grateful. Like, it's this element of my life is a very important part of my life, not because I'm good at riding a dirt bike. I'm barely good enough to even participate, but for reasons like this.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah.
So after you played with the finger and wrapped it up, and actually, wait. So yeah, take us through that. So we've got to get to him.
So we're like, luckily, so Ryan, Merrill, and I are all on search and rescue here in Southern Utah, and so we've been in kind of a lot of these similar situations where
as Jared, who took the call.
And Jared too. Oh yeah, that's
by the
true.
way, let me say it differently. You volunteer.
That's true.
To be on search and rescue here in Southern Utah.
Because we don't have enough adventure in our own lives. We have to go
we get to go participate in other people's
misadventures. So immediately it becomes a rescue mission. We scrapped the idea of finishing the bikes that we have that are out in the desert at that time, and we should just make a game call. The weatherman is a guy in Mexico that communicates with a lot of people with a radio, with shortwave radio through all of northern Mexico.
The weatherman is like a Baja establishment. He calls the race. He talks about people down, not moving, calls for help, helps get helicopters en route sometimes.
Yeah. So communication's very difficult down there. And so anything you can do to help that. So we talked to the race, we talked to Daryl and Ryan, and the communication is a little bit patchy. We find that there's a medical person maybe 10 miles away because the race course is supposed to have.
We're told.
And then the weather is kind of socking in the helicopter, but they're going to try to get to him because they realize that it's kind of a code red, a finger. Maybe we can put it back on at that time, we were hoping. And so we just decide as a team, we're going to get to Ryan. And so we book it back over towards San Felipe and up the highway. And then we're just kind of guessing on the dirt roads from old maps and Starlink, pictures and GPS of how to get there, taking advice from weatherman about way. And eventually we just end up on the race course, like with permission to race 30 miles down the whoops and getting passed by trophy trucks. And
in Wade's, I'll call it brand new, white Ford F-150 Platinum.
With like princess tires on it. I mean, it's like, it's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, but dude, this Wade is just hammered down, Ryan. Wade is just hammered down. This truck is catching air through the woods.
Yeah, most of my truck made it. It was fine. I did.
Oh yeah, some pieces did fall off.
Yeah,
right?
that's fine. Yeah. It's fine. But we're all there. We're communicating back and forth the whole time and route finding through the desert because there's no good way to get there. There's just which bad way. And we roll up on Ryan and he's just sitting on a rock, like grateful that we're there, almost in tears. Oh, guys, thanks so much for coming. It's like a birthday party he invited people to, and he's just surprised we came. He's like, oh, I didn't know you guys came. That's so great.
By the way, look what I got in the Ziploc bag.
Yeah, like, show us the finger right now. We want to see the finger. So, oh yeah, here it is. And it looks.
By the way, for anyone
good.
wondering, like, how does a finger get chopped off in a crash?
Yeah.
Is that a typical dirt bike injury? Like, what's going on?
Even to this day, there's 1,000 different theories of how it happened.
What's your
it's-
best theory right now of how it came off?
Yeah, you lived it.
Yeah. Like helmet smashing. I always describe it to people as like take a hot dog and put it on the tile floor and then drop a bowling ball on it. And that's how it's separated.
I say for anyone wondering what this looked like, it's like this. If I challenge you to remove your fourth finger with a hammer in one whack, no chisel, no knife, no sharp edge, just the hammer.
Yeah.
That's what the finger looked like on both ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way to describe it.
And you're just like,
But
oh,
what
yeah,
did it?
check-
And
I
because
don't
this
know.
isn't a dirt bike injury. You know, like Wade breaking his hip. Okay,
That's kind of makes sense a little
makes
bit.
sense. Like
I don't know. I mean, if anybody
busting his
should know, it should be me because
You didn't go to. You didn't,
I didn't lose
get knocked
consciousness.
out.
I
Yeah.
didn't get knocked out. I remember exactly flying over the handlebars, crashing. And of course, as I'm hitting the ground, it's a whole mess of chaos. But I didn't get pummeled by the motorcycle. Too bad. So I don't know.
And by the way,
There's
your hand's lacerated. Your pinky's missing the whole tip, by the way. Let's not leave that guy. By the way, had you just lost the tip of the pinky from the nail down, that would still be news.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, something got me clear back into the back of my hand, and then the bone was right about to where the knuckle was on my birdie finger, and just crushed clean off. Part of the glove was still attached, but the finger's completely severed, like nothing attached. So yeah, how?
Why didn't we attach it? Why didn't it get attached? Because Wade, you played a role in that.
Yeah, so I still have friends with Dr. Eggert here who put my hip back together, and so we got his phone number and I called him on a Saturday. He's at a barbecue, and I said, "Hey, I'm in Mexico again. It's not my hip this time. Can I FaceTime you real quick? I want you to take a look at a finger." He's an orthopedic surgeon, and I tell us what you think.
By the way, for anyone listening, this is the miracle of Starlink. 2 years before, when you were damaged,
Yeah,
there was no communication but the sat
It was
phone.
horrible.
And now we're in the think about how rapidly this changed.
Yeah.
Now we're in the middle of the Baja on the race course, miles and miles from civilization.
Yeah.
And you're FaceTiming with a surgeon with the finger in hand
Yeah.
from that spot, thanks to Starlink.
Yeah, total miracle.
Crazy.
So he's like, that doesn't look good. Show me the finger. And I was like, oh, show me the hand. Oh. And I was like, he's like, what's the chances of us being able to save the finger? And he's like, it's a low chance of finger saving. And I said, oh, well, is that like 1 in 10 or is that like 1 in 100? And he's like, I don't know if it's 1 in 10. It's probably less than that. And I was like, well, should we hurry and risk, take some risks to get him to a surgeon real quick to see if we can get it on? And he's like, I wouldn't hurry too much. I think that race is over. And so, there's still a chance.
We kind of tried. I mean, back to Ryan being a nice guy. Let's get to the helicopter. So luckily, a private helicopter was able to be routed to us. We didn't think it would be able to. We were ready to drive him out.
Yeah.
And I just want to add, as a connoisseur of falling off of my dirt bike, maybe not so much as Wade, but
You are pretty good at that.
I am good. Yeah,
I
I'm
might
good
be
at falling
better.
off a dirt
I
bike.
might be better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, maybe
that's more style.
Okay.
For sure.
As the fourth best fall off a dirt bike guy in this room, I think what happened is just that momentum, and unfortunately, instead of your hand slapping down into a nice sandbar, there was probably some really sharp rock because, like you say, there's a billion rocks in Baja. I think your hand just unluckily hit. And that much momentum, probably, you were going on the bike at 40 miles an hour or something like that, and then you come flying off the bike, and that momentum hitting into the ground. That's what I think, but
It could be.
That's just my speculation. Okay,
Nasty.
helicopter.
Well, yeah, we got lucky because we were ready to drive him out. That would have been hours. We got to get it and cross the border. Luckily, a couple things to set this up. Dylan, one of our race crew, who's on the fast bike, they have their own adventure. By the way, they won. Checkered flag, third bike, finishes the race, wins their division out of a whatever heat of one. But they won.
No, there was two bikes.
Yeah,
there was two bikes.
Yeah. There were two. Oh yeah, we were the other bike. we were the other bike. Anyway, the bike that won their division, Dylan has a small plane that he had flown down to San Diego. It's waiting. He's ready to. He's already showered at this point, eating tacos. He finds out Ryan's missing a finger, so his directive is to drive across the border as fast as he can, get to his plane, be ready on the other side of the border in a different town if he can,
Calexico.
I was in
Calexico.
Yeah.
Gonna meet Ryan in Calexico, which is on the other side of Tecate, because maybe we can get Ryan to Tecate through to Calexico, and then Dylan in the grand plan can fly him back to Las Vegas. None of this would end up occurring because the weather got so bad. By the time Dylan got to his plane, he wasn't able to even make it to Calexico. So meanwhile, luckily they get a helicopter to us, so we don't have to drive him out and fly. Where'd you end up going? Tell us about that. So, and what was that like? What was this whole experience from there?
So with search and rescue, we've been in helicopters a fair amount rescuing people. So I was somewhat knowing what to expect. But it turned out it's a private pilot. He was down there helping a film crew document another trophy or a race truck that was running. He goes into San Felipe, Dave with Icon Helicopters, who was, and they says, hey, there's some dude over in the desert that's lost part of his hand. You want to go on a rescue mission? And he's like, oh, heck yeah. So he comes and lands. He's got a medic with him. The medic comes over. He doesn't speak Spanish. And he just comes up and he's like, I'm standing there chill as can be. I don't think he even knew what to do. We hop in the helicopter. We're flying out. The medic that's sitting next to me, he starts puking his guts out in the helicopter.
Because of the finger or because of the flight?
I think the flight.
Yeah.
Because if he's a medic puking his guts out over that finger, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. No. And I mean, they were, he's a nice guy. I'm sure he would have done anything to help me. But so we fly and he's like, hey, I'm heading to Calexico. Do you want to just hitch a ride with me across the border? And I'm thinking, how brilliant is it that Wade remembered to grab my passport for me? So I had it on me.
Because when I crashed, I didn't have my passport, and I had to go hunt it down. So I was like, Ryan, let's get his passport.
Yeah,
He's going
it was brilliant.
Yeah.
By the way, bring your boots. Be prepared. Honestly, though, that's one of the things I love about this whole adventure is it has taught me from medical gear to details like that in life to be prepared. But back to your story.
Yeah. Well, just before that, I was talking Daryl into lighting a tree on fire because we're out in the middle of nowhere. Let's get some sort of smoke signal to find us.
That's how you're going to find. That's how we're going to find you. Yeah.
So we do that. But the helicopter lands. I hop in. We're flying back, and I'm just chatting with the helicopter pilot. He's a super cool dude. And I'm like, oh heck yeah, let's get out of here. Let's get across the border. And I'm thinking that's perfect. Now the whole time I had no idea how much work you guys had put into coordinate with getting a surgeon on the phone so that we could figuring out my escape, because I'm in the helicopter going, okay, I got to figure out how to get out of here. And I don't think I was in shock at that point, but I'm still a little bit dazed and confused. I've been racing for 24 hours straight at that point between chase truck and
don't discount the fact that we've all been awake by the time this happened, we had all been awake for like 30-ish, 32-ish hours.
Yeah. By the way, now we're leading to the territory where I do have one regret from this whole situation. I feel like I could have done better. It's another one of these learnings. Like when Wade got injured and flown out, Meryl had the foresight and also a little bit of guilt, I think, having conned Wade into coming to the Baja to ride with Wade and kind of advocate for him.
Drop out of the race and come and be my nursemaid all the way through.
Yeah, so I was planning to meet you in San Diego because I thought you'd get there as we were talking on the phone and whatnot, but as you told me at some point, so my last words, not to Ryan, but on the text thread, I remember this, to the group text said, Ryan, don't let Ryan be too nice. Cause you're such a nice dude. So here I am complimenting you for staying cool, being kind. But when the helicopter pilot offered to fly you to Las Vegas or St. George, to hopefully get to surgery faster, closer to home, Ryan, had I been there, the answer would have been yes. I don't care what it costs. I don't care what it takes. And sadly, I let you fly, we let you fly alone. And I regret that because, and I'm saying this not to obviously criticize you, Ryan. I'm praising you just for even in you've lost a finger, bro. You're carrying it in a cooler at this point that came from the Quickie Mart at the border.
Oxo gas station.
And you're trying to be considerate of this helicopter. No, I can't put you out like that. And for him, I bet you he probably wanted to make the flight. But my point is, man, and this is not for you, for anyone listening, there is a time just to advocate for yourself. There's a time to just say, yeah, make this about me. Take me to Las Vegas. Let me get surgery. And I mean that sincerely. There's a time where you really have to watch out for number one. And I wish that on the one hand, I pray, I love you. And by the way, your finger was probably unsavable no matter what.
Possibly. But we didn't know that.
I still believe you know, I wish that I would have been there to like advocate for my friend, and it's a regret I have. You know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get all choked up here and have a hard time talking because you're getting me going here, Shawn. You've got nothing to regret because I clearly remember the phone call that you placed. Whatever you need, just do it. And I remember you saying, "Don't worry about the cost. I've got you covered." And I mean, not so much at that point, but when I got on the plane with the mango farmers, it hit like a ton of bricks of just the support, the love, you especially, but the helicopter pilot, mango farmers, the pilot of that plane, everybody is dropping what they're doing just to make sure that I'm okay. That's, yeah. I wish I could talk, 'cause, I'll never forget it. So.
We love you, Ryan, man. It's easy to serve a guy that's so humble and so grateful. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think that, I mean, to circle back to, why we do this, it's because it builds relationships like this. And because we've been through so much together that, I mean, literally, there's another incident that happened before the race where a guy wrecked. He's a racer. He hit into a truck
on the same trip. On
the same trip, and everybody dropped everything to go help that guy as well.
Not just everybody. Yeah. Ryan, here's the irony.
And that's the ironic thing. Ryan, who
like the last thing his ninth finger did was help another guy.
Yeah, like this is less than 24 hours before the race. A dirt biker's prepping, doing a last lap. They're up in the hills. These guys, I was back eating tacos, whatever. These guys are riding, and this guy plows into the side of a truck, busts his arm, bleeding out, bones through, contusions. Ryan's been in EMT school, and the last thing Ryan did was help get this guy.
Both Wade and I and
Jared, we just all we ended up getting him into the ambulance, giving him first aid. Ryan's kit was better than the ambulance kit that showed up.
Yeah, we ironically had a video call with the guy when we were having a kind of a team wrap-up party, and he said that our team had better medical resources than the ambulance that showed up. Hey. And he wishes we would have just kept him instead of putting him with the ambulance, but
Seriously, man. And then, 20 hours later, I get the chance to put some guy on my dirt bike ramp as a backboard. And after watching them load him in and bang him up and your guy gets I'm like, okay, guys, just, if you can get a helicopter, great. But whatever you do, please don't put me in a Mexican ambulance. Like that seems maybe riskier than the rest of the Baja.
Yeah.
So as I'm hopping in the helicopter with a Mexican medic, we land in San Felipe. He's got to change his flight plan, add me to it so we can go to Calexico, get out of the country, right? There's an ambulance waiting there with a whole team of medics. And they're like, hey, let's get you loaded up and going. I'm like, nope, I'll take my chance. Just flying by myself. I'm like,
I'm going to hang out.
Because I remember when they're loading that guy on the highway, I'm like, I hope this guy lives. I'm like, this is scary. I'm like, I don't ever want to get hurt bad in Mexico.
I mean, here's a guy with contusions in his arm.
Like
it was compound fracture. The bones were sticking out.
And what happens as they load him in?
Oh, yeah. So the stretcher goes down the side of the ambulance. He's holding his arms across his chest.
Trying to keep his arm on his body. Like it's like literally broken. His bones are out and they're just jamming him into the wall. They're like, we got to put this in.
Yeah, they roll him down the side of the ambulance and you can hear his elbow boom, boom. And you hear,
his name's Jim, right?
Yeah, Jim.
Oh, poor guy. Shout out to that guy.
And I don't want to gloss over what he told us on this video call, but he said somebody told him, you need to just get back to the U.S. and get out of this Mexican hospital because the Mexican hospital was like, oh, that arm's beyond repair. We just need to amputate. They were going to amputate his arm.
They were going to take it off.
That was the next move, is just butt out the skill saw and just like get it done with.
So Ryan's trying to escape from the last leg after the helicopter lands. Was that in Tecate or was that in Calexico?
So helicopter flew me to San Felipe Airport, and then from there straight to Calexico.
Calexico, but there's no hospitals there.
No, it's like a tarmac and a tin shed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so pick up.
I'm sitting in a lawn chair under a metal roof with the rain dripping in front of me.
And a cooler.
With my OXO cooler, lid with yellow duct tape with the lid upside down.
What's in the cooler?
With my body parts in it.
Okay, so now what happens? Wrap us up.
So the super cool helicopter pilot is like, look, I can get you out of here. The weather's ugly. I don't think your friend's going to be able to fly. I'm like, I can't have you do that. I'm like,
bro, okay, so this is where I'm saying, Ryan, this is where you just say yes, okay?
You advocate for yourself, right?
The thing is, I'm already sitting in a massive bout of guilt because I've just totally eliminated our team's chances of finishing.
Oh my God. Like we care.
I know you don't, but I
we
still
need
felt
another
bad 'cause
medal. Come on now.
I still feel terrible about it, right? And now this helicopter pilot's asked for him to go completely out of his way. And I mean, this is a long flight in a helicopter. Like, helicopters are great, but they're not designed for, cross country. He's like, look, we'll figure it out. We'll work it out.
Plus, you thought Dylan was coming.
Dylan's already got his plane, already going this way. This makes no sense to make you go out of your way when I've already got a ride and it's figured out.
And you didn't know Dylan couldn't make it to you at that point.
No, and we were looking at the weather maps going, okay, it looks reasonable that he'll be able to go. Dylan's looking at it saying, yeah, there's a pretty good chance this will all work out. I'm like, great. Well, then he gets trapped in bad weather, has to make an emergency landing. And now I'm sitting in nowhere land. No rental car companies, no flights to even book even at any price. And now the weather's so ugly that the helicopter can't even fly out. Like, we went out and put a tarp on the helicopter to protect it from the weather coming in.
By the way, this is probably for people listening at least 6 hours, I'm guessing, after the accident. And we've been given a time window of 6 to 8 hours is when, if there's any saving that finger, it's got to be in that window.
Yeah. So, and honestly, at that point, I'm like, there's no saving this finger. I know what it looked like at the crash. And now it's been it was sat open, at ambient temperature for several hours, finally get it cooled down and in the cooler. But now it's another, 4 hours after that, 3 or 4 hours after that. I'm going, we're not saving it. But now I'm thinking there's a massive amount of trauma in this hand. And I'm majorly worried about, possibility of infection, something going wrong further. Plus, honestly, I've got no idea what other internal injuries I, could have. I felt pretty good, but, I've got a massively distracting injury staring me in the face. And I'm going, I need to get to a hospital. So I'm on the phone I've got a couple of friends that are doctors in St. George. I'm like, hey, where do I need to go? What can I do? And they're like, you need a level 1 trauma center. So I'm Googling it, and the closest one is 128 miles away. I'm thinking, even if I can figure out an Uber to a car rental place, that's still a couple hour drive to get there. And I'm going, oh my gosh, you guys are stuck across the border trying to get through customs and do whatever you've got to do. And I'm like, holy cow. All right, then this beautiful twin engine, like 19 passenger plane lands right in front of us on the, basically just taxis right in front of this place. Pilot hops out and he's like, hey, what's going on? So the helicopter pilot's telling him the story. He's like, look, hop in the plane. We'll fly you anywhere you want to go. And I'm like, for real? So another guy walks out from the airport and he comes out, and I have no idea who this guy is. He just looks like a average guy that's maybe even working at the airport. He's like, yeah, hop in. He's like, I know a really good place in San Francisco. We could drop you off there. And so I'm like, look, the closest place that I can see that I need is UC San Diego. And they're like, absolutely, hop in, let's go. And I'm like, holy cow. So I hop in the airplane, and I'm talking with the guy. His name's Chewy. Super cool guy. We're still texting and talking to each other now. And so I hop in. There's a guy sitting next to him. He's kind of quiet, and I get in there, and he's looking at me. Now, I'm in motorcycle race gear. I've got a chest protector on, my race jersey, my riding pants, knee pads. I'm wearing Daryl's boys, like, skateboarding shoes. I look like a guy that's been sleeping in the dirt, like some poor little homeless guy that's picked up out in the middle of nowhere.
Technically, you had been sleeping in the dirt.
Yeah. And so Chewy's like, hey, what do you guys, do you need, whiskey, you want vodka? We're like, let's get you something to make you more comfortable. He's like, do you need cash to get, I says, no, honestly, I'm just trying to Google to find a rental car so I can get from the airport to the hospital, the pilot turns around, here's this. He's like, dude, don't worry about it. He's like, we've already got a car on the tarmac with the driver, directions in hand, ready to go. Everything's cleared. You can literally hop out of the plane and go. I'm like, and that's what really hit me. Just that feeling of generosity that just like, there's so much good in this world. You see the news, bad stuff's happening all the time. I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of good people. So shortly after that, talking to the owner of this plane, these mango farmers, the guy sitting next to him, he's like, kind of looks over and he's like, hey, what's in the cooler? Because mind you, this cooler doesn't look normal. It's a cheap styrofoam gas station cooler. The lid's upside down. It's got yellow duct tape on it. It's like, and I says, that's my other body part, so I'm taking with me to the hospital. His face drains, like just goes white, leans back and doesn't say another word the whole flight. So I hop off the plane, we land, and we were flying through some ugly weather. Like I'm bouncing all over in this plane. They put their plane through the works to get me to the hospital or to the airport in San Diego. We land, I get out, and she was like, hey, can we take a picture quick? I'm like, heck yeah. So I'm standing there with my hand wrapped up, dirty riding gear, sitting next to this guy who's just put him and his whole crew out of the way, off to the side, and flew me out. We take a picture. I hop in the car. The driver, he's like, I understand we got, it's urgent. I says, yeah. And so I'm in the back seat behind the passenger seat. He's driving, and he is going like a bat out of you-know-where. Like, I'm like, hey, dude, slow down. I'm like, we'll be all right. Just get there. Don't hurt the car. Don't get a ticket. Don't. And he's like, okay. And he's chit-chatting a little bit. And then he looks over and he's looking at the cooler in the front seat. He's like, just curious, what's in the cooler? And I says, oh, that's my finger I lost. And he's like, oh my gosh. And he smashes that gas pedal through the floor of that car. I mean, we go blasting through at least one red light, weaving into that car. I've got my left leg pressed against his seat, wedging myself in the back of the door. I'm like, dude, slow down. I'm like, we got to get there. I'm like, I've been alive all day. I'm not going to do it. I'm like, dude, slow down. I'm like, I want to get to the hospital alive. He's like, okay. So he slows down. He's still like, you're going to make it. You'll be all right. I'm like, I know. Let's be all right. We come flying up to the hospital, misses the turn to the emergency room, slams on the brakes, looks up and sees a pathway, the bike lane in the sidewalk to the emergency room, cranks the wheels and floors it up the bike lane. Cars half on the sidewalk, half in the bike lane. Screeches to stop in front of the emergency room. A couple of armed security guards come out. It's like, what's going on? I'm like, the driver jumps out. It's an emergency.
It's okay. I'm a limo driver.
10 hours later.
So, hopped out. Thank the driver so awesome for getting me there.
Wow.
And then went in the emergency room.
Yeah.
And this is where we finally crossed the border, begged, borrowed, and stole to make it quick. And I got to encounter Ryan just before they finished sewing you up. So Ryan's conscious through this whole surgery. And it's tough, man. I was asking about the tools. They literally used a pair of like dikes to like wire cutters, think of it that way. Stainless steel, so they look official, to chomp off the jagged bone that was still sticking out of his hand just so that they could pull the leftover skin and tendons and whatever they could kind of make. It's like me wrapping a Christmas present, like trying to close it up with more tape, a little extra tape. Exactly. This is them, that little piece of wrapping paper you cut to fill in the gap where you cut it. Yeah. This is them with Ryan's finger, right? Like these like probably medical students, just earning their stripes on the first floor emergency room, but at least it's disinfected, it's cleaned up, it's sewn up, and of course I'm like, where's the finger? Where's the finger, bro? Like, I have big plans. I'm going to put this thing in epoxy and make it a keychain. And they took it, man.
Yeah, that was the saddest thing about the whole thing.
I was bummed out.
We could just go find somebody else and get a finger off and give it to you. Maybe that's next year for your birthday.
Not the same.
I really wanted that finger, bro.
I'm sorry. I did ask to keep it, and I think they strategically just swept it away when I wasn't looking.
Because they get asked that all the time. Like, hey, can I
have that?
So we lost the finger. But Ryan basically, They clean him up. They want him to stick around for like an interview with the trauma people. And Ryan's like, dude, just get me out of here. So he disappears to go basically take a shower in the sink. He's still wearing his dirt bike pants. He's still got knee pads on.
Yeah.
I hope, man, I don't want to smell those.
Yeah.
That wasn't pretty.
But and he just gets loaded up in the back of the black truck for a 10-hour drive back to Utah.
I don't think I've ever slept so good. Now, I've had 200 milligram ibuprofen at the crash scene. They gave me a small dose of fentanyl when they first started shooting my handful of lidocaine.
Huh. Tell us
And
about
by the
that.
time they were done, oh gosh, yes. There's a needle. Picture a needle that's the size of something you would stick in an elephant. And they are jamming it in there and just rooting around and shooting lidocaine in. And I can see the lidocaine squirting out the stub of my finger.
This is to numb you for the surgery that you get to watch.
Yeah, it was way cool. I expected them to knock me out. I'm thinking I'll be over there overnight. You'd called and said, hey, what's your plans? Where are you at? And I'm like, I remember telling them, I would just love a clean pair of clothes and a toothbrush. I just want to brush my hair. I feel so gross. So they're shooting my handful of lidocaine. They're doing, I know you're on your way. And I says, hey, how long am I going to be? And I'm like, well, really, as soon as we're done stitching you up, we'll do some extra, tests to make sure the rest of you is okay. And then you're okay to go. And I'm like, holy cow. And I remember going, I get to sit here and watch you do this? I'm like, okay. So you show up right as they're done stitching up. And I'm not telling you, they were stitching up the end of my pinky. And that was probably some of the worst pain ever because the numbing stuff had long worn off. And I'm like, I'm sure there's still handprints in that bed rail for me squeezing that thing.
That's about when I showed up. You didn't show it, man. You wore it well.
Oh, I was hurting.
Jeez.
So they're expecting me to just lay in bed and stay there. Well, you show up with the clothes. I hopped out of bed, went down the hall to the bathroom.
I'm going to go ride my dirt bike.
I'm ready to ride.
They patched me up. Let's go ride.
I'm washing my hair in the sink. I changed my clothes. I'm like, I feel good. So I took the IV, pulled it out, threw it in the garbage can, and I walk out. And the security guard sees me walk out with my duffel bag. He's like, oh, the exit's for this way. I'm like, well, hang on. I need to get my prescription for my antibiotics and check out. And the security guard's like, what? So then the doctor walks down the hall and he sees me. He's like, what are you doing out of bed? I says, well, I got cleaned up. I'm ready to get out of here. I'm like, you told me as soon as I'm done stitched up. It's like, no. We got a whole specialist team coming down to check you out. It's like, based on your mechanism of injury, how hard you hit, how far you flew, you're not going anywhere until we get you cleared. And I'm like, look, I can answer all your questions. I'm alert and oriented. I says, I can refuse anything from here. And he's like, well, hold on, we'll get you a prescription for some painkiller. Just give me the antibiotics. And I says, I'm good. Right then the nurse walks up and he's like, looking at my arms. He's like, where did your IV go? And I says, oh, it fell out in the bathroom when I was changing my clothes. So he's like, well, what's your plans? I says, well, my buddies are here. We're just going to drive home. And he's like just baffled.
You want to go road trip
Your
it?
friends are here. You're just going to hop in the car. And I'm like, well, yeah. Like, okay. So they gave me the prescription. Wheeler walked out, hopped in the truck, and I fell asleep in the back seat. And I didn't wake up until we literally were dropping off people in St. George.
Oh, what? Epic.
And here we are a month later with that nub or nubs. Let's not forget the pinky.
Yeah.
And Ryan's riding again. We've already been out on the trails.
Yeah, first ride, my hand was so swollen up, I had to wear an oversized welding glove just to have something to put on my hand.
And that's why he wears that team name on his chest.
That's right.
Team can't not ride.
Yeah.
It's a sickness. And this logo you've handily installed on this mug, Ryan. I got to unveil that as the keeper of the gear, as the maker of all of our, designer of all of our hoodies, t-shirts, jerseys. That will forever be our new official team logo right there.
Well, I can't take credit for this. There's
you got to show that
a place in Cedar City that reached out. One Life, they do EMT training and first aid training. That they reached out because they'd heard about the story, and this is, well, send me a picture of your hand. I'm like, okay,
Let's see it.
Yeah, so check it out, and then you got to read what's underneath it. It's super clever.
Oh, without my glasses.
Okay, so I took a picture of my hand there.
That's how old we are.
This is a life-saving skills 10 out of 10, lending a hand 8.8 out of 10.
Ryan, you will never score above a 9.
He was a perfect 10 until this race.
Yeah. It's
But
Super awesome.
I'm not. We'll have to actually do some research on that logo. It may not pass this.
yeah. I don't think it might.
Okay. Well, we'll revisit that.
Yeah, that's
Might have unintended consequences.
There is. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think if we do like maybe the rock on with like differing heights there,
Yeah.
We'll
something
figure it
that,
out.
well, yeah.
All right. Well, Merrill. Final takeaways. Team Can't Not Ride 2025 wrap up.
Well, hey, I just, I mean, it's so interesting talking about the Baja 1000 with people because there's some people, they just have no concept of what, but then out of a group of 10 people, one guy will come up to you and be like, you guys raced the Baja 1000? And just, you'll engage in this conversation for maybe an hour.
You know what the Baja 1000 is?
Exactly. And it's just, I mean, it's such a, like Wade said earlier, I mean, it literally is a Super Bowl of a motorsport that you can just sign up for as anybody if you're willing to go give it a try. And, just like I say, being able to participate in something like that with the group of people that we have around us. And it just every year it makes us closer as a group. And then we'll add a few more people that, these relationships we're building. And it's so incredible. And obviously there's other things we do, but it's kind of like the defining thing. It's become the defining thing. And
my wife hates it, by the way.
Yeah. my wife's like, not really a fan either.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty universal. But
by the way, for the record, I don't want a rock. I don't need one.
I have a rock. You have a rock.
Welcome to borrow mine.
You have a
anytime
rock?
you want,
I have a rock.
You have a rock.
I don't need a rock.
You don't.
Okay.
You'll get one.
Yeah.
We keep doing this. You'll get one. But I'm just, like I said at the beginning, it's kind of my idea, and I dragged these guys into it, and I think they were pretty willing. It wasn't too hard, to get them to go. But now we've been doing this for a few years, and it's just, I get excited. Just we've been talking about it for 2 hours. My heart rate probably elevated 20 beats a minute based on what I would have been doing on a Friday afternoon.
That's awesome.
But just talking about this because I'm so excited about it, and I love it because it's this thing that gets us in flow state. It builds relationships. It teaches us so many life lessons that are applicable to every other part of our lives. And then one other thing and it's going to be a little bit of a roundabout thing, but Ryan lost a finger. There's a guy who's a rock climber named Tommy Caldwell. He also lost a finger, but then still took on this big challenge. And a total other side thing, but Ryan and I had to take a trip to Mexico to retrieve some gear that got stolen from me.
Like last week.
Yeah, last week. So, and in typical Team Can't Not Ride fashion, we only had like 36 hours to do it. I still went and rode for like 8 hours. Ryan drove the chase truck. We were gone from home for 36 hours, went to Mexico, sat in some hot springs, the whole thing. But Ryan's listening to this book about Tommy Caldwell climbing the Dawn Wall. And one of my favorite things from the book was Tommy Caldwell, while he's the 7 years it takes him to climb the Dawn Wall, he thinks about giving up actually quite a bit. But then he has a kid, and he says in the book that part of the reason he has to finish this challenge that he's taken on is because he wants to set an example. Because from the outside, if you looked at us, we all have, between us, there's probably 30 children that, ones we know and ones we don't know, that we fathered. But, there's probably a lot of dads out there and probably a lot of moms that are like, what are these guys doing? They're putting themselves at risk. But what Tommy Caldwell says, and what I've felt for a long time, is that I want to, obviously I want to take care of my kids, but I also want to set an example of, doing things and being something.
Yeah, a lot of people live for their kids.
Absolutely.
And forget to live.
But, one, and this is just one very brief moment in time. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and if any of you have a 13-year-old daughter, you'll know that this is something. She said to me, "Dad, you're one of the coolest guys that I know. And I don't know if that has to do with motorcycle racing, or whatever it is.
Well, just wait for it to hit 50.
Yeah,
I agree. Well, anyway,
Savor
we've
that.
lived through all this.
Savor it.
No, I what I should have done at that moment is taken a video of that and use that to blackmail her later.
Yeah.
But anyway, all that being said, I feel like that, these things that we do, even though they're risky, even though, they take us away from our families, I feel like we're setting an example, a lifelong example of our children, whatever, thing they want to do. I don't know that it'll be dirt bike racing. I got a couple of boys that are pretty into dirt bikes. But that we're setting an example of being and doing things throughout your life, because there's not a single one of us that was ever great at riding dirt bikes, but as a collective, we're a team that's finished the Baja 1000 as a team four times. 4 years in a row.
By the way, and without even too much care about trying to win, and it's not to say that being competitive, look, we're competitive with each other, but there's just a lot more to life than winning, as we learn when we're 4 years old. And yeah, I feel super blessed in all the same ways.
You say 40, we're all pushing 50 awful hard.
We'll just keep rounding down. What about you, Wade? Any wisdom from all this?
If you want to go fast, you go by yourself. But if you want to go far, you go with your friends. I feel like that we've got a lot out of this as friends. It's pretty cool to be able to have such great friends. I don't know that I would race the Baja without you guys already down there. I think that's, but when you guys are going, man, I'll sign me up, man. Let's go do it. Let's go hang out and try it again. I'm so grateful, just full of gratitude.
Ryan, tough weight loss program. Not efficient, but any last words for those listening?
Yeah, I mean, I hear us talk about how good the tacos are, how good the motorcycle riding is. The truth is, I love motorcycles, I love tacos. But for me, I don't go ride motorcycles by myself. I do it to be with you guys. You're my best friends. I love you guys. I even love my new rock.
That one will never leave you.
Yeah. I don't want another one. But one's good. But in all reality, it's just that feeling of unity. And I love what you're saying there, one person can go fast, but together we go far. And all that we've accomplished, all that we've done, I couldn't do without you guys. So, love you guys.
You too,
brother. Well, look, thank you to Merrill and Ryan and Wade. Only half of Team Can't Not Ride, but certainly greatest hits album right here for sure. I feel privileged to be your friend. And for anyone listening who may or may not be into dirt biking remotely, listen, the one thing I'll just leave you with, we got another finisher medal. It's called the finisher medal. It says right here on the ribbon this year at Baja. It's our fourth one as a team. We've finished every year. And I love this medal even more than like the checkered flag that, we've gotten on some different races and whatnot, because I love this message, man. Finisher. Like to me, that's even cooler than, almost anything else it could say. And I'm grateful to you guys for bringing this to my life, as much as my wife might rue the day. But look, if you're listening and you want to finish your medal, you want experiences like this, adventure, right? More stamina in your life, perseverance, more character, kindness under pressure, more humility, more humanity, and relationships that last a lifetime. Bring your boots. That just might save you a chunk off your own 25-year journey.
Once a year to take my friends away should not be the budget for your bike across America.
TikTok has become an aggregator for some of the dumbest human actions. When I won that million, I was $2 million in debt, barely hanging on.